And so there was that bullying. And then the swimming also had, I had my first racial discrimination encounter while in Botswana in Westwood. And I was 12, 13 there. And again, I continue swimming. So when I go there, I continue swimming, and I also find that I'm miles ahead because of
nationals.
And then also my training regimen here was hectic. Lunchtime, evenings, and weekends, right? So in a day, you're training twice. At least a total of 3 hours of training every day. And then when you go there, it was so relaxed.
Flambeau.
Yeah, it's just like, and then also in their defense, there's like winter. So during winter, you're not swimming, you're doing other sports, blah, blah, blah. But I was really good. And I was in my school, I was the only black person in the swimming team, like male or female, because swimming was not a sport for black people.
So what racial experience did you have?
So
Racist experience.
Yeah, so at a point, our coach changed. We used to have a really cool coach called Mrs. Proctor. I loved her. She was young, with it, awesome. And then I think she left or she moved to training like the younger kids. And then we got this, I even don't remember her name, but she was a Boer from South Africa. And I say that not to say that all Boers are racist, but there is a complicated past, racial past there. And I didn't know racism. I knew you come, you perform, you excel in the swimming team. And I knew I was the best. And I knew especially breaststroke, there's no one who's beating me at breaststroke. Angalau even butterfly. Breaststroke, no. And so this evening we're doing drills. And so you in lane 1, you do one drill. Once you master the kicks or whatever, then you move to lane 2, right? Everyone is being hamishwad, and it's breaststroke. Everybody's being hamishwad. I wasn't, by the way, I was so focused on, I'm getting it wrong. Let me keep doing it until I get it right. Until that Roxanne friend of mine, who was a very poor swimmer, was moved before. That was when I was like, hey, I mean, no, So it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
I've never felt anything like that. So I stood at the edge of the pool, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to get out. So when I'm getting out, she asked me, where are you going? I was just like, nope. I went and changed, and then I left. And when I was walking out, I met these 2 boys, Tato, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but I remember Tato. Tato was Botswana. And they were telling me, no, like, because I was like, I've quit the team. Like, screw it, I don't have to swim. It's fine, I'll swim when I go back to my country. Like, I don't have to swim. And they're like, no, you're the only black person. It's a big deal. Now I'm being gassed up. I'm like, you guys go swim then. Why are you outside here? Go swim, you can float. Go swim. And my Uncle Wilson, picked me up from school that day, because obviously now I had...
So she doesn't tell you anything after that?
She didn't tell me, because I leave her.
Yeah.
And I walk. And when I got into the car, I just started crying. Like, I just collapsed into tears. And when I finally told him what happened, when we got home, obviously now my aunt is like pissed. So she's calling everybody. She works at the school. She's calling everybody, like calling for a meeting. And this coach, by the way, had refused me to be the captain, even though I had everything that was needed to be the captain. So now there was an entire meeting the next day. Even now the black teachers are like,
Amandla!
And then I was just swimming, imagine, like breaststroke. So it becomes a bigger thing. The coach then says, okay, you can be co-captain with this other person. I'm like, Z, I don't want it. Why do I have to be co-captain with someone? Why? And if that, like, you can't see me for what I'm bringing to the table, then I don't want it. I actually don't want it. So do you quit swimming? No, I don't quit swimming. Yeah. I still swim. I even swam for I want to say like the national team in Botswana,
Yeah.
where now at least we got 2 black people.
Yeah.
Me and another chick called Eniola. She was from Barbados or something like that. So now we would at least hype each other like, we can do it. But what was hectic is that after galas, during assemblies, when you'd be getting your awards and whatever, and when I was getting my awards, it was wild cheering. And it was not about me or swimming. It's like what I represented. So even years later when Facebook popped up, there's a guy who was in IB when I was in IGCSE 1 who hit me up. He was like, you're that black chick who used to swim in Westwood. Because it wasn't about Adele.
Yep, it's the black chick.
It's like a black person can swim so well. A black person is beating white people. A black person is setting records. It was that.
Yes.
And it took a long time for me to get used to that.
You know, Adele, I relate with your story in ways that I can't express, and I love it. And I'm thinking every time when you think sometimes your experiences are not for other people, but when I hear you, what am I trying to say? We as Kenyans in this space, we don't understand the freedom that we have of identity and majority. So we don't. Me, you, Derek, and Nick, who's here. Race is not even a thing that even crosses our head.
Absolutely.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Tribe, unfortunately, sometimes does within our generation, but I'm glad that it's dying.
And it's in a different way than race.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or maybe for the minority tribes, obviously I'm speaking from a privilege, but for the minority tribes, it might be different.
Exactly. So you're right. Right now, this conversation, until you experience what it is to be judged by the color of your skin.
Wow.
When from growing up, you have no idea about it. I want to ask from the empathy perspective of the people in Botswana.
Yeah.
You see those guys who are writing to you and they don't know you, they just know you're a black person who you were competing not against other schools. You were competing against the whites in your school.
Exactly.
How insane is that?
It was really insane, and and even to go back to your ratio thing, Westwood sometimes we would have inter-school galas and stuff like that, and we would be, and now I've even started running also in such stereotypical Kenyan
long distance marathon.
But me, I used to do long distance because of probabilities. I'm like, because I like winning, and I'd be like, if we're like 6 of us who do the long distance races, 2 will faint, you know. 2 will faint, and then now chances I'm in top 3 are much higher. And but then that probability always works. It never fails me. I'm like, I can't go to 100 meters here sprinting. We're 14 of us. We're all sprinters. Chances are I could be number 14. Here,
2 are fainting.
this chick over here, she's not used to the African sun. She's fainting in 5, 4, 3, out. Okay, next. So you're third, but you're last. But if you're third, you have a medal. That's all that matters, you know. So we'd go to there's another school called Marwapula. We used to compete against. And I think another one called Sunshine, if I'm wrong. I can't remember. Or Rainbow, not Sunshine, Rainbow. And those were predominantly black schools. We were, I guess, because of the nature of it being an international school, we're the ones who had like a lot more white people.
Yeah. And you had also white from outside, not the Boers. We're talking about British whites.
British, American.
Okay. Ambassadors' kids, would they be in your school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when you go to those ones, now I started understanding like even how you're seen as a sellout or like detached from everyday black people because you're in an international school. Yet they don't know I'm not from an affluent home. I'm not there because my mom is an ambassador or whatever.
Yeah.
Me saying I'm coming from tough times, bro. But they're seeing the Westwood Nini, they're just like, she's a sellout, she's not one with us. So I then also, after experiencing racism like that, then now you experience being othered by people who look like you.
So xenophobia.
Yeah. And it would be bad. Like I remember the guy coming to read the water meter, they would talk to you in Setswana. And when you say you don't know, and you're like, oh, I'm not from here, he'll ask you. There's one who asked me, how many years have you been here? I think at that time I'd been there 2 years. And he was like, shame on you for not knowing our language. And he kept talking in Setswana. I was just like, what?
I get it, yeah.
Sir, what is going on?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Random question. I also realized Kosa, because I was in SA for 4 years, I stupidly didn't bother to immerse myself in the culture to learn their language.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? I didn't start do you feel like there was an element of, maybe because the school you went to did sort of allow you to immerse yourself?
I think it was hard because when you're picking your classes in the language thing, if I picked Setswana, I was going to be in class with people who have been speaking this from
Gelia,
not from Geli. They've been speaking Gelia Setswana from when they were born.
Yep. That's their English.
Then I'm going to be graded on that. Dude, at least let me pick French where we're all beginning. Bonjour, all of us. Bonjour. Again, there's a better probability of me excelling here than that side.
Your life is probability.
I'm going to Penya. So there's that, and then secondly, I think if you don't have a welcome, if you're constantly telling me how other I am, then I'm like, okay, you don't want me here. If the bullying I'm going through is telling me I don't belong, then I just get comfortable not belonging, So there was that, and I guess because their history is more complex, or not more complex, because colonization is crap all around.
Yeah.
But the dynamics are different from mine. So I won't hate another African. They have been...
Give me a random, from what you remember, a tidbit about Botswana's history. That's a country I am not too...
It's very similar to Southern Africa.
So is it the same?
South Africa.
Do they have the same, the Boers as well?
They have the Boers. It's not as anger charged.
Yes.
As South Africa. I think also mainly because economically they're in a different space.
Yeah.
So there's less to be angry about when your country is pretty rich and taking care of certain things. You can be like, let that slide, But it's very similar in terms of their feelings towards other. So there were many Zimbabweans who came to Botswana and were doing your casual jobs. So they didn't like Zimbabweans. There were many Kenyans who were doing now jobs like doctors, lecturers, teachers.
Yep.
So
the professional jobs were being taken by Kenyans because of our education
Exactly.
level.
So now there was a feeling about that, but it wasn't as loud and explosive as South Africa's feelings. So like how you'd have actual xenophobic attacks there. Here it would be more words and language and just mean things, but not lighting a human on fire on the road.
Yes. No. Okay. Hey, thank you so much for sharing that experience. I heard you say, here's where now I decided the media is what I wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's have that convo.